No, 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 no. As soon as I saw this, where she was giving her foal this like giant fucking syringe of Pepto-Bismol, girl, in my opinion, that's what killed her foal. Hey bitch, welcome back to a new video. Buckle up because this one is depressing, morbid, and just baffling. It's honestly baffling to me that a fellow equine influencer would make such negligent decisions regarding her foal that would result in the foal's death. If you don't know who I'm talking about, we're talking about QH Perfection on Instagram and YouTube, otherwise known as Jenny Goodnight. Apparently, she was a pretty large influencer in the equestrian community. I had hundreds of comments on my post talking about justice for Pearl. QH Perfection neglected her foal and I need to talk about it, and a lot of people were upset that I hadn't addressed it because it's very recent. It only happened, I think, maybe a week or so ago. I'm not exactly sure of the timeline because she deleted her entire Instagram account. So the reason this video took me a while is because I had to do my own research and try to find screenshots that people took and documentation of what exactly happened since she deleted her entire account. After days of research, I have finally found enough evidence to come to my own opinion and conclusion, which is what this video is going to be. I'm filming this video more of a commentary style video because, man, this is so fucked up. This is so sad. I first want to say, for legal purposes, that this entire video is just my opinion. As someone who studied equine veterinary science and also shadowed veterinarians for several years, I am giving my opinion on what I think happened and what I think about her decisions. Jenny herself confirmed that the foal is dead. So we are basically going to go through the entire timeline of events on how this influencer allegedly killed her horse. Before we get into this video, I just want to say a massive thank you to Equestrian for sponsoring this video. As you guys know, all of these hoodies I designed myself. They're my own animal activist apparel, which fits in so greatly to this video, to be honest. If you would like to pick up any of our hoodies, this weekend is the weekend to do it because we are having a Happy Halloween sale for all of you. So make sure to head over there. That link is down below to get 20% off site-wide everything. If you're interested, I'd really appreciate it because it supports the channel and it supports me doing more activist work like this. And if you like this video, if you want to see more animal activist content, please subscribe and turn on your bell notifications so you're notified every time I make a video. Because these are important, bitch. Why would you not subscribe? So if you're unfamiliar, like I was, Jenny Goodnight, again, was the owner of QH Perfection, Quarter Horse Perfection on Instagram. She's a barrel racer. She looks like she's a Western rider. Typical. I'm just kidding. All I'm going to be speaking on is what Jenny herself said on her story and posts publicly that she did when her foal became sick. I'm not going to be talking about hearsay. I'm not going to be talking about what people think she did to her animals or what she maybe did at this point in time, or breeding her horses irresponsibly by breeding them with health issues. I think a lot of people only breed horses for profit and for money, which we'll get into in a second, but I think she was obviously just breeding this horse for money to sell the baby because she didn't really seem to care. She basically made a post saying that she didn't really care if the foal lived or died. Not a great thing to say. I mean, that definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way when you say that you don't really care that your animal that you chose to bring into the world, that you chose to care for, you're gonna sit there and say that you don't really give a shit if it dies. Like, girl, oh my god, I can't. Starting from the beginning, Pearl is, I'm assuming, a quarter horse, was definitely bred by Jenny Goodnight, QH Perfections, and the foal was a few months old. I'm assuming. Nobody could get me an exact date of how old the foal was. If I can find it out by the time I'm posting this video, I'll put it up there. But essentially, it doesn't really matter. It's a foal, it's less than a year old, so it doesn't really matter how old this foal was. really all that matters at the end of the day is that it's a living, breathing animal that deserves care and treatment, especially if you're the one who chose to breed it and bring it into the world. A lot of people are alleging a bunch of different things about her mistreatment and miscare of this foal. I'm not going to get into that. What we're going to get into is what happened starting a few weeks ago or a week ago, whenever this went down, of her foal getting sick. So Jenny posted on her story that her foal Pearl wasn't eating, wasn't drinking from her mom, was very lethargic seeming, and she was monitoring her because she had diarrhea. Horses that are under a year old that have gastrointestinal problems is incredibly common. It's something that we meaning myself and the vet that I shadowed, used to go and treat very regularly when we were dealing with newborn foals up to yearlings. It's incredibly common, but it's also incredibly dangerous because the risk you run when a foal has diarrhea is that the foal is going to become lethargic and dehydrated and could die within just a matter of hours of that happening. When a foal has diarrhea, something that I think needs to be said, it should never be self-diagnosed. You should always call your veterinarian, because foals having diarrhea could be a myriad of problems. So that is the biggest reason why it's so important for veterinarians to be on scene within a matter of hours of a foal having diarrhea. And the most important reason being that foals that have diarrhea need to be given the adequate sources of water and minerals to rehydrate them. It's so important to make sure that you are hydrating your foal during the entire time that they have diarrhea, because again, the number one way that they will fall deathly ill is if they become severely dehydrated. That's why it's incredibly important to have a vet on scene if you have a foal that is having diarrhea. Do not self-diagnose it. Do not try to, look up home remedies. You should absolutely call a vet immediately. If a foal has diarrhea, that's something that is very easily treatable if you have a vet come out immediately, and it does kill foals. I want people to know this, which is why you need to have a vet come out, because it's something that can be so easily treatable from a myriad of different conditions that could be causing it. It is easily treatable and very easily preventable. What happened is Jenny didn't call her vet out. I know she's claiming right here that she did call her vet, but honestly, in my opinion, I don't believe that this is true, because no veterinarian would ever recommend giving Pepto-Bismol to a foal, and we're going to get into that in just a second. Her and her vet thought that it was just flu symptoms and it was a common cold, which doesn't make sense, because diarrhea in foals is not related to equine influenza at all. Diarrhea is not one of the symptoms, so it doesn't make sense why her veterinarian would think that she had equine influenza, which is another reason why, in my opinion, I don't believe that she ever called a veterinarian. Instead, she decided to try to self-diagnose it, which is never something you should do. If you're not a veterinarian and you're too cheap to call a veterinarian, you shouldn't have a foal in the first place if you can't afford to call a vet and have a vet come out. Never, ever self-diagnose this. But what did she do? She did that, of course, because Jenny thinks that she knows everything, which is just great. It's just great. What did Jenny do? She gave her foal 60 milliliters or cc's. I can't remember, dude. Fuck. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway, the dosage, because it was way too much and she shouldn't have given it to the foal anyway. Of Pepto-Bismol. It is safe, before we go any further, to give a horse Pepto-Bismol for diarrhea, because what it does is it kind of binds the diarrhea, meaning that it makes it solid again, so the horse doesn't lose as much fluid and doesn't become dehydrated as quickly. Pepto-Bismol is okay to give full-grown adult horses if they have mild diarrhea, and this is only as a preventative measure until a veterinarian comes out. This is not the end-all be-all to solve your problems. This is only until you can get a vet out. Pepto-Bismol should absolutely never, ever be given to foals, ever, because Pepto-Bismol is a binding agent. I don't know where the fuck she read this from. I don't know. But dude, do not ever give a foal Pepto-Bismol. Like, if you're looking on some whacked out holistic website saying that it's okay for foals if you dose it right, no. As soon as I saw this, where she was giving her foal this like giant fucking syringe of Pepto-Bismol, girl, in my opinion, that's what killed her foal. And I'm going to tell you why. Based on my veterinary experience, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think happened. Since Pepto-Bismol is a binding agent, it is known to cause constipation in foals, which is incredibly fucking dangerous. Constipation in foals is the number one way you can cause severe dehydration, lack of nutrition, and blockages within the gastrointestinal system, causing the foal to die. It's just fucking sad, because it's like, this is the most preventable thing I've ever seen, and I would honestly be willing to bet that by her giving the Pepto-Bismol, my opinion, that was the nail in the coffin for the baby. And I know that that sounds really morbid to say, but that is the most grossly negligent decision I've ever seen an equestrian make, because she had been having diarrhea for hours and hours, possibly days beforehand, before given the Pepto-Bismol, and then the Pepto-Bismol caused a severe blockage within the gastrointestinal system, and then the baby succumbed to whatever it was that it was experiencing. Likely dehydration is what killed the foal, which dehydration is something that can be so easily preventable. And the reason I say that is because QH Perfection, Jenny Goodnight, came out and said that people who were attacking her were just terrible, vile people, and that the baby actually died of a cancerous tumor on the colon. And let's talk about why that's not true. Jenny tries to say that it was a cancer or tumor on her baby's colon, and that's why the foal died, which doesn't make any sense, because cancer and tumors on colons take a very long time to kill an animal, and you would have likely noticed severe problems prolonged over a period of time with your foal. If that was actually the case, it wouldn't have just happened overnight. And the reason I'm telling you that Jenny is full of shit is because I myself have a mass on one of my ovaries, and this was not something that I was planning on telling anybody about, because I like keeping my medical life private. But we don't know if it's cancerous, or if it's just a benign tumor yet on one of my ovaries. And once we go in and do surgery and it is removed, which is what's been causing me to be severely ill over the last few months, they're gonna have to take it and do a biopsy, and then they're gonna get back to me and let me know exactly what it is and further preventable treatment from there. I'm fine. I want everyone to know I'm fine. That's the reason why I haven't been wanting to tell anyone, because it sounds fucking awful to just come out and say that it's possible you might have a cancerous tumor on your ovary. There is no way for her to know if her foal had cancer or a tumor on the colon unless she did a biopsy, meaning they went in, cut open the foal, removed it, sent it to a lab, and got back to her with a biopsy report, which takes about a week or two for that to happen. So the fact that she said overnight, when people were attacking her the day after her foal died, that her foal had a cancerous tumor, that's not true, because there would have been no way for her to know that. So already she's lying. She's just lying to her audience. Do I believe her explanation of things? No. I think what happened is she probably didn't call a veterinarian at all. I would be shocked if she actually took the foal to a veterinarian, because veterinarians have preventative measures. They would have been able to counteract the Pepto-Bismol given to the baby. They would have been able to put some enemas in the baby, get the baby rehydrated in enough time, and possibly given the baby some shots to counteract the bacterial infections or whatever it was that was going on, which caused the baby to be lethargic and dehydrated in the first place. But was it a cancerous tumor on the colon? No. In my opinion, I do not believe that she took the foal to a veterinarian at all. I think she just waited to see what happened overnight and hoped that the Pepto-Bismol was going to make it all go away without doing any research. And then she basically just came out and tried to make herself feel better about killing the foal by saying that, oh, well, since the foal was terminally ill or likely had cancer or a tumor, I mean, it's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. The foal was terminally ill, when that definitely is not the case. The foal almost definitely didn't have a tumor or cancer because she didn't do a biopsy, didn't send it into a lab. And even if she did do a biopsy and send it into a lab, she wouldn't have been able to know that in a matter of 24 hours. I think she only said that to cover her ass, and I don't think that she called a vet out at all. So that's my take on this entire situation. That is my opinion on this entire situation. Comment your thoughts and your opinion on this situation down below and what you likely think happened to the foal. I think it's a good thing that she deleted her account, and I mean, I think that this is definitely a very negligent decision on her end, and this really stems back to people should not be breeding animals for profit when they don't know anything and they don't really care about the animal. All they care about is just making money, and if it dies, it dies. They don't want to spend any money on the animal. I mean, this probably would have been maybe a $200 vet visit. The vet would have just given some fluids to the horse and maybe a shot or two. And over $200, she kind of just let the foal die, which is very, very sad in my opinion. At the end of the day, you can't prevent stupidity, and this kind of goes back towards not every single person should own horses. Not every single person should have animals, period. If you're not going to be a responsible owner and take care of your horse the way that it deserves to be taken care of, then you definitely should not be breeding them, and you definitely shouldn't be responsible for them. I think that this situation was incredibly preventable. I mean, I can't even tell you how many vet visits we went on where we dealt with foals under a year old that had severe diarrhea for a myriad of different conditions, and they were all easily fixed within a matter of hours. So this is something that is just, it's just a lack of care and humanity for a living animal, and I think that's the saddest thing about this entire story. But anyway, guys, that's my take. Let me know your thoughts and your take down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!